go back to home. I'm going to go to custom size again. Now we're going to have 4 buttons on our website. Now because our website is 1024 pixels wide, our buttons are going to each be 256 pixels wide, okay, because by doing that 256 times 4 is 1024. Okay, now we have to set it to 40 pixels high. Okay, now that's because that's the smallest height it allows us to set in Canva. Okay, so I'm going to click create new design. We've now got our button area set up. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to create some buttons. Now I'm going to use, let's get a nice square. I'm going to use this for my button. Okay, so I'm going to stretch it out, and I will be saving these as PNGs. Okay, and the reason is, I wonder if it'll let me stretch out how I want it to be. Why won't it let me? Okay, I'm going to change this slightly, because what I want is I want to be able to what I want to be able to do is get an image that's going to go across the full length. Okay, so I'm going to find, let's go for, and I'm just searching through, because what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to get a shape so I can get it to go across the full screen. So that's fine. So I've gone on to shapes here. I want one that's going to work for me. Right, that's good. So with these shapes, I can actually stretch it so I can get it to do what I want, which is excellent. So I'm going to stretch this for the full line. And the only bit that's going to actually be transparent is this little corner, but it'll just give us a nice effect when we come to use it. I'm going to change the color. So I'm doing it for surf, so let's do, okay, that looks good. Okay, and then I'm going to add some text to my button. Okay, and I'm going to let's keep our buttons nice and cool, nice and savvy. Choose a nice font style. There are hundreds for you to use. Okay, and what's great about Canva, it actually saves your favourite ones there, so they're always there for you to get. Okay, and I'm going to make the text bigger. That works nicely for me. And align it so it's in the center. So remember, you can just go position center and get it perfectly in the middle. Okay, now at this point, what I want to do for each button, we're going to have 4 buttons. For each button there's 2 states. So there's the normal state where the mouse isn't anywhere near it, and then there's the rollover state when the mouse is over the top of it. So to do this, it's really easy. You need to go down to this bit, and if it's hidden on your screen, just click on the arrow to bring it up, hover on it, and just go 3 dots, duplicate. Now I'm going to, on this, give it a name. So I'm going to call this, and this is important because when you save the files, this is what it'll save it as. So that one's going to be called home button. Now this one is going to be called about_btn. And remember, we don't do spaces when we do any files on a website. We always use an underscore instead of a space. So that's going to be about. Duplicate. Okay, this one is going to be called video. And this naming them is for the file name when we save it. So do make sure that you're doing this part here. It's important. So this one's going to be called video. Okay, and then we're going to duplicate it again. And this one is going to be called contact. Okay. Now we've got our 4 normal buttons. So these are the buttons that are there when the mouse isn't rolled or isn't rolling over it. We then need to add our other buttons, so what we call our rollover buttons. So it's really easy to do. I'm going to do it on this one just because it's easier. So duplicate. Okay. this is going to be home. Okay, and what I want to do is I'm going to change this button to be, so it's this one we want to change, and I want it to change to, oh sorry, not the text, so I meant to click on this. So it's click on this square, and then it's the middle color we want to change, so this one. So I'm going to make it darker blue. No, not you can't see the text, so I'm going to do the other way. That works. Okay, so we'll do it. That's going to be our rollover, and then what I want to do is I need to change the file name, so we're going to call it home button, but I'm going to add to the end of it R0, and that just stands for rollover. Okay, I'm then going to duplicate it again. This one's going to be, because we need one for each of these, so this one's going to be the about one. I'm then going to duplicate it again. This one is going to be the video page, and then going to duplicate it again, and this one is going to be the contact page. And then what I need to obviously do is click on each one and just change the text. So that's going to be about, that one's going to be, you double click it, it selects it all. That one's going to be video, and then this one is going to be contact. Okay, so if I just show you there, we've got all of our file names correctly added in, and we've got all of our buttons, and for each one, so there's our normal home, there's our rollover home, there's our about home, there's our about home. Now what we need to do is we need to get these buttons into our asset folder. So what we need to do, same as before, we're going to go to share. Now I want to use a transparent background this time, so I'm going to go to download. Make sure you set it to PNG. Make sure you tick the box that is transparent. I am going to compress it because it's for a website. We want it as small as possible. And then I'm going to click download. Now, it's going to ask you where to save it. You need to save it into your asset folder. Okay, let me see. Here it goes. So make sure you've gone into the same as before. So go into your website folder. Go inside your asset folder. I'm going to call this, instead of home, I'm going to call it buttons. And remember, always lowercase, don't use capital letters on websites. Okay, so we're going to click save. Okay, I'm going to go inside the folder that I've created. Okay, there it is. There it is. There it is. And then I've got a zip file called buttons. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on it. It might get this warning, just click OK. And then I'm going to go extract all. Okay, let it just extract their buttons, and all it's doing is the reason it put them in a zip file is so you can download it as one file. Okay, rather than have to download them as 8 separate files. Okay, let the computer tick away. And in here now, we've now got all of our buttons set up, so they're ready to go straight into our website. Now when you get to this point, you're now ready to go and use Dreamweaver.